We are the Fourth. We are the West.
Reflecting on the past, the Rangers have done quite well against their division rivals, winning the first series in Arlington and having success in recent years at Oakland. Tonight, the plot thickens as one California native faces his former team. Welcome to Rangers Baseball, presented by AT&T. We always talk about beautiful weather for baseball. That has not been the case today here in Oakland. They were rained out yesterday. A lot more of the wet stuff this afternoon, but just about ready to go. A slightly delayed start today for Game 1 of this three-game series, the Rangers and the A's. We take great joy in bringing you guys in with us today. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nikowski. Look, the Rangers into town after a very frustrating couple of days in Seattle. And today, the first news we got when getting to the ballpark, a couple of roster moves.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise here. We thought maybe with Sam Dyson and the struggles that were going on in the closer role that maybe he would be taken out of that role. Well, now we find out today he's actually going to go on the 10-day disabled list. And so now for Sam Dyson, and this all happened on this play, he's going to get a little bit of a breather. But watch this ground ball from Gerard Dyson. If you saw the game yesterday, you certainly remember this one. The reaction to try to catch it with his bare hand, and you see him kind of catch it right there by his right thumb, and he ended up continuing to pitch, but all of a sudden now a little bit of a problem here, so he is going to go on that 10-day DL. It's nice about the shorter DL, a little bit easier, I think, to make that decision. But the good news, I think, here for the Rangers is now that Keone Kela is on this roster, and this was a little bit of an issue. Kela was such a big part of what the Rangers have done in their bullpen the last couple of years. Well, he doesn't break camp with the team, and all of a sudden it seemed like there was a big need for him, and they absolutely have missed him over these first couple of weeks of the season. So he's back, and he will take on a pretty big role right away.
Yeah, and a lift for the Rangers, I think, to get a good power arm back again into that bullpen, a fresh arm at that. We'll see how that plays into this series. And as we talk about this series, it's worth looking back. It was really just a bit over a week ago that these two teams faced one another, and it was the young guys. Mazzara, a 6 RBI game, Gallo, a 5 RBI game. So the bats were rolling last time we saw Oakland.
And not only was it a great series for these guys, but it really has been a great year for both. But think about Nomar Mazzara really picking up where he left off a year ago with the big home run here, dead center field. We saw his first grand slam of his career, those 6 RBIs. He'll see some familiar arms against those A's. I'm sure he is looking forward to that. But also Joey Gallo, who all of a sudden has gotten this extended playing time with Adrian Beltre being out longer than expected. He has taken complete advantage of that. You see that home run that he hit in Arlington. So I think it's a big deal for these guys as they're getting comfortable, establishing themselves even a little bit more, especially in the case of Joey Gallo. You like seeing familiar pitching that you've been successful against.
Well, the Rangers have scored some runs early on. In fact, they lead the American League in runs scored to this point of the season. Still, though, a key to this series, clearly to me, is going to be stopping Chris Davis.
Yeah, Chris Davis, all of a sudden a guy who we are seeing who loves facing the Rangers, the 12 career home runs. This is a very strong young man who has got tremendous power to all fields. We talk about this all the time. You come into a new series, you identify hitters that you do not want to beat you. Chris Davis, without a doubt, sticks out like a sore thumb in this Oakland A's lineup. He will be the guy that the Rangers will be extremely careful with. 6 home runs already this season, and we're barely 2 weeks into it. And so AJ Griffin, watch him. Wow, he's going to use that fastball, the breaking ball, but I don't think he's going to take any chances with Chris Davis.
Okay, and what about Jarrell Cotton, starting pitcher tonight for Oakland?
An exciting young arm that the Oakland A's picked up from the Dodgers in that Rich Hill trade. This guy's got some really good stuff, good fastball. You'll see sometimes 95, 96 miles an hour, but a plush changeup. Just a little guy, 5'11", but packs a pretty powerful punch. He'll be a handful for the Rangers.
Yeah, that's the one side of it. The other side, we mentioned AJ Griffin back here starting against his former club. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot on his mind tonight.
I think so. Now, he got that first start against the A's out of the way, but that was in Texas. Now, all of a sudden, he gets to come back here to Oakland, the place where his career started, where he had a lot of success as well. And there's always something to coming back to the team that you first started with in your career, especially in the instance of A.J. Griffin. Didn't really end exactly the way that he wanted it to, so I think maybe there'll be a little bit payback on his mind tonight.
Indeed, maybe some revenge for A.J. Griffin tonight, the opening game in a 3-game series. Now, look at that. It was just a couple years ago when he was in the green and gold. We put him in a phone booth, and poof, 2 years later, the hair's long, and he's a Ranger. And tonight, he has the job on the mound. .com/keep calm to learn more. And by Southwest. Visit AT&T.com/keep calm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, the fans braving the weather here, some of them anyway, it is not a pleasant evening here in the East Bay as we get ready for the opening game of this series. Rangers and A's from the Coliseum. And the story tonight for us, A.J. Griffin coming back to his old haunts and taking the mound against his old team for the first time in this building as something other than an Oakland day. And for more on that, we check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, Dave, AJ said he is anxious to come back here. He's very comfortable with this mound, with this ballpark. Also very comfortable with this lineup since he just faced them, in the opening series or the opening week of the season. He also mentioned to me that he's felt the offseason or the work that he put in the offseason is already bearing fruit because of the weight that he lost and because of the work that he put in, the off-season conditioning he put in. It enabled him to maintain his delivery longer. He also feels fresher between starts. So that off-season conditioning and losing that weight really has helped AJ, at least here in the early going. Hopefully that will continue, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. And he looked really good his last time out in Anaheim, hoping for more of that tonight here in Oakland. It has been a weird, very busy day in Major League Baseball today. And to get folks caught up just a little bit, let's send it back to the studio with Dana Larson. Matt Bush. And now, at least tonight, he's going to be first man up for the closing spot should it happen. Yesterday, boy, and his first time back after the injection in the shoulder, did he look sharp in the 8th inning.
Looked really sharp. The velocity was good. The fastball was live. The breaking ball, we know, is a good one. And so for Matt Bush, yes, you feel pretty confident with the thought of sliding him into that closer role. But here he is yesterday. Look at the movement on this fastball thing, just exploding as it gets to the plate. And guys struggling it, and especially when you know that breaking ball is sitting in his back pocket as well, it makes that fastball all the more effective. It's not going to be much better than that. 3 up and 3 down with 3 punch outs. Strikeouts, those are, Dave, in case you didn't know. But yes, it'll be good here with the thought of having Matt Bush potentially closing tonight for the Rangers is certainly something Jeff Bannister and Doug Brocail have lots of confidence in.
Well, as we get set to go, let's take a look at our Southwest starting lineups. And for the Rangers, Carlos Gomez maintains his spot atop the order. Elvis Andrus, for the 3rd night in a row, will be batting 2nd. You see Shin-Soo Choo again as the DH, batting 7th today. 5 RBIs yesterday, most since 2010. And the numbers starting to improve for him down at the bottom of the order.
Yeah, let's take a look at what they will be facing tonight. It's Cotton taking the mound here for those A's in a pretty interesting pitch mix here. You see right there, the 4 and the 2-seamer split about even. The slider, the changeup also split about even. So there's not just one necessarily go-to out pitch. He throws really all 3 of them, the slider, changeup, and curveball, about the same. The changeup is the one I like the most. It's a really effective pitch against the lefties. As you take a look at his season numbers so far, off to a pretty good start. When you think about the 4 lefties that are in that Ranger lineup, they are really going to have to contend with that changeup tonight.
So he's set to go, and his first offering very high.
Watches.com.
Carlos Gomez. Well, impressive that we start this thing at 7:15 today. The tarp was on early this afternoon, and there was a lot of talk about our game potentially being delayed, well, an hour or more. But the weather has cooperated, and we're playing baseball. 1-1 the count on Gomez.
2 of the worst words in all of baseball. Rain delay. We'll take the short ones, though.
Indeed. Gomez at a 149 batting average, and he takes a strike. Ball and 2 strikes on Carlos, getting on at a 273 clip out of that leadoff spot. He has walked 6 times. Shoot this one foul back behind the plate.
You see Cotton elevating the fastball, not scared with that kind of velocity that he has. And gosh, he sure looks young, doesn't he? It's making me feel like an old man up here, but really good live fastball. Has some cut action to it as well. You know, he doesn't really, it's classified as a slider. It's probably a little bit closer to a cutter. You kind of get caught in between sometimes. You know, is it a big cutter or a small slider?
Fouled off.
Probably acts a little bit more like a cutter.
Now, Cotton, 25 years old. He is a young man.
Somehow these big leaguers keep staying young, but I keep getting older. I'm not digging this.
I get older, they stay the same age. It's the 1-2. Oh, good velocity, and CJ mentioned the changeup. I'm surprised. I was interested in that number, 18% changeups, because in the video that we've seen, it is a really nasty changeup.
It is. We'll see. I'm curious to see how he uses it against righties. Like I said, we'll see it against the lefties. As there's that slider slash cutter. You watch that pitch, right? 89 miles an hour, about 4 or 5 miles an hour off his fastball, which really makes it look like more like a cutter. But for whatever reason, all the algorithms and everything that ever gets used here, the way that we acquire data, a lot of times they get automatically classified and they kind of push it into the slider category.
Now, just missed with that last one. The 3-2 is spoiled again by Gomez. Carlos putting together a good at bat in this leadoff spot again. Gomez yesterday was 0 for 4 with a walk. Got off to a torrid start on that homestand, but this road trip, it's been a little harder for Carlos to come by the hits. This will be the 9th pitch of the first at bat today, though, and he's going to see a 10th.
And it's a great day to get a foul ball here at the Coliseum, as I just watched the guy run over about 3 sections full speed through a couple of puddles.
It is foul ball day here. Everybody, first 10,000 through the stands. Yeah, it's all yours. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Gomez. And he shoots this one into left field, base hit. Wow, that's a big time at bat for Gomez and a great way to start this game.
Yeah, smoked. Carlos Gomez did a really nice job of fouling off some tough pitches from Cotton, and ultimately he got one that he could handle, trying to go down, and pretty much threw it down. But look at Carlos. Look at the head down on that ball and just watching that thing right through the bat. A little bit of flair on the finish, but it does not matter what Carlos Gomez's batting average is. It's always the same intensity, always the same kind of excitement, everything that happens when he is successful. But it's a really nice at bat for a guy that's been struggling here a little bit.
Oh, making Cotton work a little bit. Now Elvis Andrus. Elvis had a base hit yesterday, and that gives him 1,281 as a Ranger, tied for 5th most in franchise history with Ruben Sierra. So a big base hit yesterday for Elvis. Recently saw a 5-game hitting streak come to an end. 1 hit in his last 9 at bats, the last 2 games. Now there's your list. All-time hit leaders.
Michael Young feeling pretty comfortable there at the top. Probably a little congratulations text to Elvis, and does the math and says, hey, you only got about, 950 more or so to go to catch me.
Oh, in there for a strike. 1-1 to Andrus. Well, Elvis checking in with a .319 average today. The 3 home runs, 3 RBIs, but it's not just the home runs. He's found the power alleys, 4 doubles early on, and it's this one on the ground, right side. Lowry with the diving stop, but it's thrown out in time. Andrus beats it out, an infield hit, and the first 2 men on.
Bob Melvin of the A's on the phone are actually taking a look back to see. Mark Kotze actually on the phone. They're thinking about whether or not they want to replay this, and that is extremely close. See, Carlos Gomez does a nice job of running the bases. We'll take a look at it here. Now remember, the ball has to be in the back of the glove, right? For Alfonso, it has to be all the way in the back, and they're still kind of deciding, and Bob Melvin says, nope, we'll let it go.
So an infield hit for Andrus. And now 5th place all alone.
Right fielder, number 30, Nomar Mazara.
Another stinger there. We saw that from Elvis when we were in Seattle as well, pretty cold, and it sounded like he hit that pretty decent, but maybe a little jammed or caught her off the end, and he's getting that stinger right at the end of his fingertips.
So gets Nomar Mazara up. Nobody out, a couple of men on. Great start in this first inning. That average at .340, 7th in the American League. Cotton's first pitch, and that ball is popped up, foul ground, and into the seats.
As a pitcher, of course, this is one of the great places to pitch, especially at night. The ball doesn't carry particularly well, but what every pitcher will tell you that they love about Oakland. First of all, great mound here. I know I mentioned the same thing in Seattle, but they've always done a really nice job here. But it is that foul territory. Yeah, that ball's off Nomar's bat, and in any other stadium, it's a no-brainer. It is. Yeah, that's in the stands. But that one, you actually have to give a little bit of an extra look, because there is so much room in foul territory here, and you see the dimensions. And don't be fooled by those gaps. They're in a little bit closer than the straightaway gaps, and the walls, of course, get a little bit higher as well. And any home run that's hit here is a fair home run. There are no cheap home runs, in my opinion, in Oakland.
One a little low, and it's 1-1 to Mazara. Of the American League ballparks, when you think about pitcher friendly,
Seattle, we mentioned.
Sure, but this is better, right?
I think so. I mean, I loved personally. Maybe I was a little bit more comfortable in Seattle than I was in Oakland, but certainly comparable.
Cotton checks his runners and just misses with ball 2. Mazara 5th in the league with 4 home runs. He leads the American League with 13 RBIs. So he is among the league leaders in those 3 traditional offensive categories: average homers, RBIs, getting on base at a very good clip, almost 380. And it's 2-2.
And that's a good pitch from Cotton. We mentioned the velocity. That one only at 92 miles an hour compared to some of the 95 and 96s that we have seen. But look at him get this ball in on Nomar Mazara and try to tie him up. Also a little bit of life at the end as it came back.
Nomar yesterday hit the home run in the 9th inning that put the Rangers in front momentarily. 2-2. And it's a full count.
And there it was. He really almost pitching 1-on-1. You run a really good fastball under the hands of an opposite-sided hitter, right-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter. You follow with the changeup, especially when you have the great changeup that Cotton has. But that ball just stayed way outside, never had a chance.
Infield a double play depth up the middle. Gomez second, Andrews first. Good speed, 3-2 pitch, and that one fouled off. Mentioned that 9th inning home run yesterday for Nomar Mazara, the go-ahead shot.
Sky high as well to right field. We weren't too sure because we saw a lot of balls that were hit well in Seattle that did not carry, but Nomar, didn't go exceptionally deep. He absolutely got all that ball, went straight in the air. A big home run in a big spot.
Well, he continues to just very consistently put up big numbers, runners going, and this one out to left field. That one drops in, base hit. 1 run is in. Andrews stops at third. It's an RBI double for Mazara. Rangers lead 1-0.
Nice job all the way around here by the Rangers. First from the Nomar Mazara at bat, fought off a couple of good fastballs, had a little bit of a problem with the one. Gets one that he can handle. Doesn't try to do too much. Watch the location, sitting middle. It's a great spot for him. Drives that ball the other way, but also the base running. You can see Carlos Gomez there, just double checking. Elvis Andrews had a really good read on that ball, not wanting to get too far ahead of themselves. So all around, nice job both sides, both the base running and the hitting early on here for the Rangers.
How about the first 3 hitters of this game have seen a combined 20 pitches already, and Cotton runs it inside on Napoli for ball 1.
You love seeing that, without a doubt. Doesn't matter who you're facing, but this guy's got a big arm and he's got the capability to go deep in games, and he does throw a lot of strikes, and he's the kind of guy that could catch a groove with his stuff and go for a little while. So you make that first inning a headache for him, and the thoughts of getting into that bullpen a little bit earlier than expected are now a reality.
156 average for Napoli, a couple of homers, 4 driven in. A base hit yesterday that snapped an 0 for 11. And he takes another strike. So it's been tough early on for Nap. The hits just haven't come for him. Does have a double to go with those 2 homers. Not the type of guy you worry a whole lot about. This pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3. He goes down swinging for the first out of the ball game.
Let's take a look here at the defense for the Oakland A's here tonight against the Rangers, and you see Chris Davis in left, Rajay Davis in center. Almost had a chance at an all-Davis outfield. We talked about the all-Garcia outfield the other day for the Chicago White Sox. Adam Rosales now is getting an opportunity at short, and that is because Marcus Semien, their regular shortstop, has gone on the DL, and Maxwell, he's seen behind the plate, just got called up today and inserted right into the lineup.
Bruce Maxwell, who was at AAA Nashville. Their season just underway. Andrews third, Mazara at second, and the pitch to Odor is in there for a strike. Rougned hitting .208 but with 3 home runs. Odor on the 5th spot of the order, as he has been for the better part of the year. And you know, you could look at the numbers, and there is some frustration over the fact that, okay, Odor's batting average is now nearing 200. Napoli 156. We haven't even seen Adrian Beltre. He continues to try and get healthy on the disabled list. This is a team leading the American League in runs scored. So despite some holes earlier, some slow starts, they're still putting up some pretty big numbers. There's 1 and 2 now on Odor.
A lot of support from the long ball, where that's been kind of a theme here so far for the Texas Rangers. The highest percentage of runs scored via the home run. So that's been that's something that's been helpful. But I think that'll actually come down, and that'll be a good thing. I think when it's all said and done, you see the Rangers leading the American League in runs scored. But the idea of there being more hits, balance that out a little bit more, I think is the ideal place where you want to be. And based on some of the things you said, they will get better from within.
2 and 2.
A couple guys will start hitting better. Adrian Beltre will be back in the lineup.
Meanwhile, Jarrell Cotton continues to toil in this first inning. He's recorded 1 out, and he's closing in on 30 pitches. Made 5 starts last year in his call-up with the Oakland A's and did a nice job. This year opens the season in the rotation. This is his 3rd start in 2017. And Odor pops this one up near the mound, and Cotton will be called off. Poof, the third baseman makes the catch. 2 away.
A lot of times we talk about pitches in an inning. It's not always about the total pitches, but the idea of how many pitches you're comfortable allowing, whether it be a starter or reliever, to go. And Jarrell Cotton is about to throw his 30th pitch. That's actually kind of near the number, especially when you're dealing with a young pitcher. 35 is pushing it. You certainly, the idea of having a guy throw 40 pitches in an inning, far from ideal, but there's been no action. I know it's only the first inning, but the idea that if he's going to have a long at bat here against Jonathan Lucroy, it seems like the A's are okay with it.
First pitch to Lucroy, and that one finds a strike zone. 229 average for Jonathan. Speaking of guys who you would expect to get it going soon. Look at Bob Melvin, the manager here in Oakland. He's dealing with some headaches of his own these days. Some injuries have really dampened the spirits around here. 0-2 now on Lucroy.
You think about an organization, you know, you're not going to spend a lot of money. Everybody understands how the Oakland A's operate and try to stay ahead of the curve, but they have a smaller margin for error. So when you have injuries, Sonny Gray, Marcus Semien, guys that you expect to be big contributors, it is extremely, extremely difficult to compete when in this kind of market. Right at near the 500 mark, just 2 games under for Bob Melvin over the course of his career.
Slow roller, and right there for it, Jed Lowry. And he'll take care of Lucroy to end the inning. Rangers don't get on the board. 3 consecutive hits to start the night against Cotton. Now, in the bottom of the first, we'll take a look at the A's starting lineup. And Matt Joyce batting in the 2-hole today at just 188. Part of the order, Chris Davis is the guy we talk about all the time, the one who has just been an absolute Rangers killer. Stephen Vogt acting as the DH, and Yonder Alonso, well, he was very good in that series back at Globe Life Park. He'll be batting 6th today.
And there's A.J. Griffin, tonight's starter. Look at the pitch arsenal. A lot of those four-seam fastballs that he throws. And what's so amazing about the breakdown, you look at the fastball, the velocity sits around upper 80s, about 88 miles an hour, but he comes at you with his four-seamer. It's usually when you get the guys that don't throw particularly hard that they're going to use that two-seamer more. We know he's got the slow breaking ball and a good changeup, but it is the four-seam fastball usage that's pretty fascinating with A.J. Griffin. You see what he's done so far this year.
Right back to the plate, just misses.
65 miles per hour. He is fun to watch pitch. He really is. I mean, to watch him do it with the stuff that he has, and he's proud of that fact too. So, you know, I don't throw 95 to 98 like a lot of these guys do, but I can win games, and he has. He's proven. He's been a proven winner everywhere he has gone, and he loves to compete.
Well, and he appears to think that the curveball is the way to go after Rajai Davis. Ooh, hangs that one outside, and it is 2-2.
That was unusual. I don't know what that was. That came in at 79. That was a missed slider, or what happened there, or even a cut changeup by accident. Jose Leclerc style, trying to cut his changeup.
There you go. 2-2 pitch, and Davis fouls it off. Well, Davis leading it off a 195 average, and he has struggled to find first base. His on-base percentage 244 to start the year, just 3 walks. That's a big deal around these parts, and a curveball just misses.
See Rajai leaning out there. It is so difficult, especially after the fastball that A.J. threw. Rajai Davis fouled back to be able to stay back on that curveballs. Not an easy thing.
This one's spoiled. Keep the count 3-2. Well, the A's coming to play 5 wins, 7 losses, and a game in front of the Rangers. West Division standings, and that one just misses outside. Davis and his good speed are on here in the first inning.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by the Texas Department of Transportation. Profar, Gomez, Mazzara in your outfield. You see the rest of the infield, and that infield has been very standard for what we've seen for most of the season, and A.J. Griffin gets Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate.
So Speed over there at first, and now Matt Joyce batting second tonight. And first pitch fouled straight back. Joyce 188 batting average, the 1 homer, 5 driven in. So the offense here in Oakland has had a hard time getting it started.
Matt Joyce kind of revived things for himself a little bit. Last year he spent the season with the Pittsburgh Pirates. The previous year, after being in Tampa for 6 seasons, really struggled with the Angels. He had 174. The on-base percentage was under 300, but he had a really nice bounce back here in a limited role with the Pirates.
Takes a curveball in. It's 1-1.
Better than 400 on base percentage for him. That was only 293 plate appearances, so it was a part-time thing, but he proved to be very valuable in that role. It's always good to see a guy bounce back. I mean, he had a really awful year with the Angels. You start to wonder a little bit whether or not he was going to be able to hold down a roster spot, and he's answered that.
Hits this ball hard out to right field. Mazzara is there, and there is 1 out. So that'll get Jed Lowry to the plate. Griffin, you were talking earlier about, you know, how he's a fun guy to watch pitch. And one of the things he does, and I think, you know, it's his style, but pitching this ballpark certainly helped develop that a little bit. And he'll pitch to contact. Go ahead, hit it. You know, this is a big ballpark, a lot of foul ground. So hit that ball hard, as Joyce just did, out to right field, but it's an out.
Yeah, he's not afraid, and that's really important. And it is nice to come up, your first taste of the big leagues to maybe be in a ballpark like this, because it'll help encourage that as well. You can play in some small ballparks and first break into the big leagues, and you're facing big league hitters for the first time. You may be a little tentative in trying to work the corners and worrying about making mistakes, and that's how you fall behind and get yourself in trouble. But spend any time around AJ Griffin, you quickly understand his personality. He's not scared of anybody, and again, it makes it all the more impressive because of how he does it. He's crafty. He is a crafty righty. He's not a power guy. He's also not afraid to elevate his fastball even at that velocity, I think, which is pretty impressive.
Lowry comes in with the average of 279. He's got a 5-game hitting streak going. Rather, 4-game hitting streak going. Pitch out is on. Davis not going anywhere at first. Though you do have to always have some concern with him. Lowry, a switch hitter. Now Davis is going. The pitch is high. The throw to second on one hop, and Davis is in there. No, he's not. He slipped past the bag. Elvis kept the tag on him, and Davis is out.
And that's why you hold the tag. That has become something that more and more big leaguers are doing because of instant replay, right? That's the big one. As you see the throw here from Jonathan Lucroy right over the head of AJ Griffin. But he got his hand in there, but he could not keep the back foot on, and it popped off, and that's part of it. But good job by Elvis. Well, he actually took it off and then put it back on, but at least to stay alert. A lot of times you'll get infielders, and this is before instant replay, put the tag down, and then just, whether the guy's safe or out, just kind of pick it up and walk away. You got to keep it there, pay attention. We are paying closer and closer attention more than ever on whether or not guys can hold the back. So good job by Elvis there.
Davis knew it for sure. Just trying it off the field. 2 gone now, and the count 2-2 to Lowry, and he fouls that one back.
I've always been amazed when I watch the really good base runners how they can sit there and hold that back foot, and make the exchange where your hand and your foot, as your hand comes off, your foot is already on the bag, so there's no gap in there and you don't get called out. But we know Rajai Davis is pretty fast, maybe a little bit too fast there.
Curveballs popped up left side of the infield. Gallo was deep, but plenty of time to get there, and the inning is over, and it's a scoreless spot of the first for AJ Griffin. Good defense though, some heads up play by Elvis Andrus helped shorten the inning. It's 1-0 Rangers. some hugs in the dugout, and congratulations as Elvis Andrus made the nice defensive play. Hey, celebrate anything. Celebrate the successes in this game.
Well, for Tony Beasley, who of course works with the infielders, right, giving that hug right there, you love that. I mean, you love when your guys make a good play, and you appreciate, I think, the fact that he's keeping the tag down there, paying attention. not getting lazy. Not that Elvis does, but just in general, I think your coaches appreciate the effort. And it's cold too. It's a good time to get hugging.
1-1 on Chu. Well, they were out here really early this afternoon working on those plays at second base today from shortstop. In fact, Jurickson Profar was mixed in the group as the pitch is in there for a strike. Get the count 1-2.
Shin Chu Chu didn't like that one. We say this all the time with him. You know, if he's going to argue a strike, I'm going to take his word for it. I'm not even going to watch myself. I'll go on what he says more than what I think I see, because he is so good at strike zone recognition.
Off the plate. Chu at 263 this year. A home run, 7 RBIs. And Chu, per usual, getting on base at a good clip, a 349 on base percentage for him. And that's the number in particular with Chu you pay attention to. He'll shoot it out to left field. Davis toward the corner and hauls it in. One out, and for more on the defensive work, back down to Emily Jones.
Yeah, Jeff Bannister has made it a point that he is not happy with, you know, the overall play, not the overall play of his defense, but the errors. And he said he feels like his guys are trying too hard to make a spectacular play instead of just making a play. He said it's something they focused on in spring training, and they want to be a better defensive team. The errors to this point are not acceptable.
I think it makes sense too, and not only some errors, and I think I kind of following along with what Emily was saying, and maybe what Jeff Bannister was trying to say. When you think about trying to make that spectacular play, there have been a couple of times where there's been some in-betweeners, and maybe you try to rush. So instead of taking the time and doing something maybe fundamentally sound, you try to make the great play and then make the situation a little bit worse.
Up a mile in the air. Down to Alonso, making it clear that he would make the play.
I guess he's not going to allow Maxwell to play at all. I mean, Bruce Maxwell was maybe 5 feet from that ball, but Yonder Alonso decided that he'd run, I don't know, probably 100 and something feet to get to where from where he was standing. As you see this here in this pitch, as they try to elevate on Joey Gallo. At least it sounds like it. Another funny ran. I mean, he is right there. Maxwell says, "All right, knock yourself out."
Oh, 2 gone.
Little Kelly leak right there from the Bad News Bears. Remember Kelly took everything? Wouldn't let anybody catch anything else.
There's Profar. Start of the night it left, and he takes one inside.
There's other people on this team, you know. Remember?
Jurickson with a 375 on base. 5 walks against 7 strikeouts. Those are encouraging numbers. 1-1.
And normally that's where I would give my Bad News Bears recommendation. It's not a movie you should watch for your children, though. Even though it's about a kid's baseball team.
Sadly, it is not.
A little different time.
Well, Rangers got a run in the first inning. But they left men at second and third again. They had second and third with nobody out. And then it was a strikeout, a pop-up, and a ground out. Jarrell Cotton got himself out of a pretty big jam there in the first inning. Now he had to expend a lot of energy. But 1 run allowed, and now a little sharper in the second. And called strike 3. Second strikeout of the night for Jarrell Cotton. Inning is over, and Chris Davis will lead things off in the bottom of the second for the A's. And tonight's TXU Energy Power Player to watch is Chris Davis. 5 of his 9 hits at home this season have been home runs. And that probably not a surprise to Rangers fans who have watched all too much of Chris Davis the last couple of years. Former Brewer has been a Rangers killer last year and already again this year. Takes that one very high.
So a lot of times when we start to look at numbers, we manipulate a little bit to try to make them work based on at-bats or innings or whatever it may be. But this is pretty fascinating. With a minimum of 80 at-bats, Chris Davis has the best at-bat per home run ratio against the Rangers all time. Number 2 would be Mickey Mantle. That's a fun conversation to be in, I think, if you're Chris Davis, knowing that you've hit home runs at a higher rate against the Rangers than Mickey Mantle did. Mickey Mantle hit 35 home runs in his 309 at-bats against the Rangers.
That's a big swing and a miss. So first strikeout of the night for A.J. Griffin, and he picks a good guy to take care of right there.
A.J. not impressed at all with what Chris Davis has done against the Rangers, and he runs a fastball up and in. Again, this is what is so much fun for me about watching A.J. Griffin pitch. You got a guy who's been extremely successful against your team. You got a starting pitcher, doesn't throw particularly hard, has got some good off-speed stuff, and he comes hard with the fastball right at Chris Davis and says, good luck, here's 86 under your hands, and he can't get to it.
Now the designated hitter, Stephen Vogt, and he takes strike 1. Well, last inning, Griffin threw a first pitch strike to all 3 batters he faced, going right after guys again here in the second, and it's 0-2 to Stephen Vogt.
And the other part, not to keep drooling over A.J. Griffin, but the pace is really strong too, and I think that's important. He was gotten some pretty good run support over the course of his career, and I gotta believe that the quick pace is certainly something that works in his favor.
Line drive into left field. That's a base hit for Vogt. He'll dig for second and have a 1-out double. Fourth of the year for Vogt.
This is an 0-2 pitch, and one that A.J. Griffin probably wanted to at least get down. It was off the plate, but the idea of 0-2, you want to get a chase pitch. If you're going up, you'd rather go in. If you're going to go down and away, you want that off the plate. But you saw Jonathan Lucroy's glove elevate as that pitch was crossing the plate. So it's one that got away a little bit from A.J. Griffin.
So now Alonso, a very sure-handed first baseman, who's having a real nice year at the plate, as you can see by the average and on-base percentage. And a curveball in there, strike 1. Last year, Alonso hit .253 with the A's, 34 doubles, 7 home runs, drove in 56, played almost every day. And he's in a hole here, 0-2.
Let's see what the difference might be as far as how A.J. handles this 0-2 count to back-to-back left-handed hitters. We saw the fastball get away from him, up and away. Likely going to bury something here, down and away, or elevate.
Griffin's 0-2. It's way in.
There's the curveball at 65 miles an hour. What I really like too about that is because it has such depth to the break, is that you can throw that fastball out of the same slot, and it's going to be a high fastball. Combination that we saw James Paxton use against the Rangers at a much higher rate, right, mid to upper 90s fastball, but the really big breaking ball coming out of that same high slot.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Yonder Alonso. 1-0. Rangers got their first run back of the first inning. First 3 batters reached against Jarrell Cotton. Vogt is at second base. The pitch on the way, and there's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. So Alonso strikes out. 2 Ks so far tonight for A.J. Griffin.
And A.J. missed on the pitch before this. The fastball was a little bit too far up, but this time, again, really well located up under the hands of a left-handed hitter. Same thing he did to Chris Davis as a right-handed hitter. It's a great spot for his fastball. It really is amazing to think at that velocity, but it is so hard for guys to be able to get to it. especially following the really good off-speed stuff.
Well, Trevor Plouffe, just the 205 average, bats with 2 outs here, and he takes strike 1. My Griffin just really coming after guys in these first 2 innings. Infield back deep.
Oh.
0-2.
Ball just kept going and kept breaking. Really strong finish on that curveball. This is 3 in a row now where he is ahead 0-2.
Yeah. Yeah, he just, I mean, he's throwing it right in there. And the 0-2 pitch is off the plate.
So that's two. You hear the phrase a lot of times, like you're slowing a guy's bat down or speeding the bat up. And so you throw that changeup, or excuse me, the curveball. It's twice away. I feel like you're slowing it down a little bit, and would not surprise me if we see the fastball up and in.
Got the fastball, and he strikes out Plouffe. Strikes out the side in the second.
Well, AJ said he doesn't strike out a lot of guys, but he certainly did that inning.
It's the old shell game.
We go to the top of the 3rd inning. Well, that's a beautiful scene. Looking back to San Francisco. And Carlos Gomez will lead it off here in the 3rd inning. Gomez, Elvis Andrus, Nomar Mazara. And strike 1 dumped in there by Jarrell Cotton. Cotton really bounced back nicely in the 2nd inning with a 1-2-3 against Chu, Gallo, and Profar. Gomez wraps this one into left field. Davis coming on and makes the catch. Well done. We take a Chevy game break. Back to the studios with Dana Larson.
Now batting, number 1, Elvis Andrus.
Okay, thanks, Dana. Here it's just 1-0. But very early on. Elvis Andrus, infield hit his last time up. And they'll check that appeal down at first. And Mike Everett, the crew chief down at first base tonight, says no.
Think about this. Thought there'd be a little bit of a rain delay. It's a cool night. It's a Monday night, so a little bit of a smaller crowd. Probably not a fun place to be an umpire, because if you want to say something to the umpire, you can, and he's going to hear you regardless of what people tell you. I don't hear anything. No, you're going to hear anybody down the lines right now that would like to say something to either umpire or even a home plate umpire, your message will get across. That's got to be fun for those
Yeah,
guys.
that is tough, right? It's the small crowds where the heckler can really get to you.
Without a doubt. 50,000, knock yourself out. I can't hear a word you're saying. 8? Yeah, you can have a chance. Get your message across.
Cotton's 1-1. And this ball hit well to center field. Davis, couple of steps to his left. 2 away. Well, the first Ozarka online ticket Thursday is this week. Rangers taking on the Kansas City Royals on Thursday, and tickets for all Thursday home games are half price in upper reserved, upper box, and Lexus Club Terrace. Go to texasrangers.com/specials and use coupon code Ozarka to redeem this offer. Yeah, the Rangers will come home again and play home games.
It's going to be nice. It's been a while.
Long road trip as a pitch to Mazzara, lifted high in the air to left field. Chris Davis is there. 3 fly ball outs and a quick top of the third. 1-0 Rangers.
Back in the second inning, striking out the side, elevating the fastball up and in, almost up and in, and tried to go up and in again, but actually left that one over the middle of the plate. But it's been the great off speed that has set up the fastball, 86 to 88 miles an hour. And these Oakland hitters have not been able to catch up to it.
No, AJ's looked pretty good tonight, and we'll start this third inning against Bruce Maxwell, just called up from AAA Nashville today. Gets to start behind the plate and takes ball 1.
You can see the numbers there. AAA Nashville for Maxwell, and he also got some decent time last year actually here with the A's, but did not go past his rookie eligibility. So even though he played in 33 games, had 101 plate appearances, he's still considered a rookie. It takes 150 plate appearances before you lose your rookie status. So that's a pretty good amount of experience for a guy who's still considered a rookie.
2 balls and a strike on Maxwell, batting 8th tonight. He swings through that fastball, and it is 2-2.
Take a look at the range of what we've seen so far from AJ Griffin. It's one of my favorites. 65 miles an hour on the low end. That last fastball at 89 has been the highest we've seen.
And he pumps in that one for strike 3. That's
a new
4
high.
Strikeouts for his last 4 outs.
And a new high, 90 miles an hour on that fastball. This one is pretty much looks like it split right down the middle. Started in, let's take that back actually. In, up and in, pretty good spot. That's the one we've seen guys swing through. In the case of Maxwell, he was just frozen.
Now, you were saying earlier that he's not really a strikeout pitcher.
That's what he said. Actually, because what's so interesting about AJ too, and there's a lot of things, he is, I don't know, one of maybe a handful of starting pitchers that's willing to talk on game day.
Oh yeah.
We rode the bus together, chatting it up, telling about the Oakland days, which was really nice to hear, and had some fond memories here. Did a little as we're driving in, pointing to the different places of Oakland, good spots to go and eat and all that good stuff. But we're just talking about his game and how he approaches pitching. He says, it's I'm a strikeout guy. It's not what I do, but I've been pretty successful, and he has been. But all of a sudden, flipping the script here a little bit with 4 strikeouts and 5 hitters.
2-1 the count now to Adam Rosales, the 9th place hitter. Well, AJ has looked very good tonight, mixing it well. Pitched here in Oakland 2012, 2013, and was very good, very successful here. And a swing and a miss by Rosales. It's 2-2.
I mean, I would say not even, this, you've been doing this for a while. Not only do starting pitchers generally not talk on game day, I don't even look them in the eye. Like if I walk by a guy, I'm just like kind of look sideways and look away. I don't want to even make eye contact.
Stays 2-2 on Rosales. What about when you played with guys and it was their start day? Did you avoid them in a similar way as a player, a teammate?
You kind of let them dictate, and you know each teammate. The great Jose Lima, one of my favorites of all time, God rest his soul. He was talking, and he wanted to talk, and he had a lot of AJ Griffin in us. We see AJ punch out. Now his 4th batter in a row and 5 out of 6. Continues to paint, use the fastball well. There it is again. Working all quadrants. You hear that phrase a lot, right? Up and in, up and away, down and in, down and away, and that's what AJ's done.
Five strikeouts so far, season high for AJ Griffin, and of course strike 1 dumped in there to Rajai Davis.
To back up his point, for AJ Griffin now, he's made 72 starts in the big leagues, punched out 9, struck out 9, 3 times in his career. That's his career high.
Did it last year at Toronto. Davis walked in the first inning. One of 2 base runners so far in the early stages against Griffin. One very high, and it is 1-2. Our effects mics down low really make that 89-mile-an-hour fastball sound like 96.
Yes.
It's got great pop tonight.
And give Jonathan Lucroy a little credit as well, catching it cleanly.
This ball smacked foul. Stays 1-2 on Davis.
That's part of it as well. Receiving, catching it clean. Right, if you had a catcher that maybe doesn't have the greatest hands, the ball's going to catch a little bit of the inside of the glove instead of getting right in the pocket. And pitchers love that. We love when our catchers make it seem like we're throwing harder than we actually are. You appreciate that. You throw one, you feel like you're rear back, right? You feel like you got a good one, and just kind of hits the catcher's glove and doesn't make any sound. You're like, darn it, that felt pretty good. All right, but a good catcher knows how to make that glove pop.
2-2. Got him looking. 5 in a row for AJ Griffin.
And somebody is happy to be back in Oakland. AJ Griffin, back-to-back innings, striking out the side.
and by your local Texas Ford dealer. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. So underway the fourth inning. Mike Napoli leading it off. 1-0 Rangers lead. Napoli struck out back in the first inning, 0 for 1. And Jarrell Cotton has really settled in. He's retired 9 straight. This one hit straight away center field, and Davis is there. How about that, Cotton? I mean, it was a real struggle for him. First 3 hitters of the game. He needed 20 pitches, couldn't retire one of them. But now is retired 10 straight.
You certainly like to see that for a young pitcher, because it is easy to get rattled after you have an inning like that. Not only the high pitch count, but the good swings that we saw. You wonder about fatigue, but he's bounced back. He's done a nice job. He's facing a tough lineup in the Rangers, and I got to believe the A's are happy with the way he's bounced back here so far.
Odor popped up his first time in, bounces this one slowly to Jet Lowry, and there are 2 quick outs. So Cotton all of a sudden putting it together. And it looked in that first inning as if the Rangers might just put a real crooked number on Cotton. Instead, once he got Napoli, he has been locked down since. And has kept his team right in this thing. So here is Jonathan Lucroy, 0 for 1. This is the 3rd start of the season for Jarrell Cotton, and just the 8th in his big league career. Young man we mentioned earlier, just 25 years old, from the Virgin Islands, and there are not many big leaguers to hail from the Virgin Islands. That one is high, 1-1 the count. I saw that stat there. For a young career.
Impressive.
Yeah, he's put together a lot of really nice starts.
You can see it. It's a big arm. Lots of live stuff. And again, after an early first where there were some struggles, he's really settled in, looks comfortable.
Another pop-up, this one into right field. And Joyce is there, and it's a 1-2-3 top of the 4th for Jarrell Cotton. We've got some big league pitching going on here tonight in the Coliseum.
lead those A's by a score of 1-0. Let's take a look at our power stats brought to you by Kubota. Today we're going to talk about what's going on with this Rangers starting staff since April 8th at 2.31 ERA, second best in the American League. We've seen it. These starters have pitched well, and even the days that maybe they're not feeling great, battling, making big pitches when they have to. We've talked about the double plays a lot yesterday. The Rangers starting staff is certainly keeping up their end of the bargain.
To it, a first pitch strike dropped in there to Matt Joyce. Joyce 0 for 1. And Griffin misses this time. 1-1 the count. Griffin has struck out 6. He struck out the side in the second. Did the same thing in the third. He's punched out the last 5 batters he has faced in his 1-1. There's a fly ball center field. Gomez with plenty of room, and that is out number 1.
Just like that, the strikeout streak is over. Something we probably never thought we'd be saying about AJ tonight.
The next post-game fireworks show is this Friday, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Head out to the ballpark as your Rangers face the Kansas City Royals and stay after the game for a fireworks show. Get your tickets for this Friday, TexasRangers.com, or by calling 972-RANGERS. Here's Jed Lowry, and he pops one up, foul ground. Lots of room over there. Gallo makes the play. 2 gone.
As much as the strikeouts have been fun to watch, the idea of keeping that pitch count down and a couple of quick outs here by A.J. Griffin probably equally as welcome. Certainly by Jeff Bannister. He'd love to see some length here from A.J. I got to correct something real quick, mostly because I don't want to get another tweet about it.
Okay.
Obviously, yes, when Mickey Mantle played, he was not playing against the Rangers. He was playing against the Washington Senators. But it's all the same. We understand that. Thank you for reminding me. I was aware of it. I don't want another tweet about it, please. Please.
Chris Davis struck out in the second inning. And that was the first strikeout tonight for A.J. Griffin. And, he doesn't get a lot of them, but you figured, wow, that's a good guy to strike out. And then he went on a tear. Got his next 5 outs all by strikeouts. But again, the one guy that you really have to bear down on is this man at the plate right now. 2-1 the count. Davis had a huge year last year with the Oakland A's, coming over from the National League, and is off to a fantastic start again this year, leading the league with 6 home runs. And it's now 2-2.
And he took a big hacker in that 2-1 count, expecting a fastball and trying to hit, I don't know, if maybe over Mount Davis with that swing.
He tucks that chin in tight. The 2-2 pitch. Here's that big curveball, and it's a full count. Mentioned that AJ pitched here 2012 and 13 and had some real good success here. Then missed 2 years, 14 and 15, with Tommy John surgery. When he came back healthy in November 15, they released him. He was upset about it, and it didn't take the Rangers long. A couple weeks later, they signed him as a free agent. Griffin kind of felt there was just a little bit of him that felt a little betrayed by the fact that, hey, I was a good pitcher for you guys. I got hurt. I've worked my way back from Tommy John surgery and then a shoulder ailment, and you let me go. Davis hits one hard to center. Right there for Gomez, and it's a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 4th for A.J. Griffin. Shin-Soo Choo, he'll lead things off in the 5th inning for the Rangers. 1-0 Rangers. And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Fox Sports Support proud to team up with the Girls on the Run. And their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. You can learn more about how you can get involved as a volunteer or a participant at the upcoming Girls on the Run 5K in your area by visiting foxsportsupports.com. All right, Chu leading things off in this 5th inning. And fouls off strike 1. He's 0 for 1, flat out in the 2nd inning. See, yesterday, big day at the plate. Had the 3-run homer early. Drove in a couple with a double in his 2nd time up. And it's 1-1.
The depth on that pitch, when I first watched Jarrell Cotton throw and doing some homework, I assumed maybe it was what we call a fosh or a split change, one that's caught in between a split finger and a changeup, and almost like a forkball grip where he would get that kind of depth on it. But that is an actual regular 4-seam changeup. Okay, changeup is sometimes what you hear it's called. Turns it over, like it completely turns it over, and to get that much movement on a pitch that he is turning over is really impressive. I thought for sure he was splitting his fingers, just throwing it straight down and getting that kind of downward tilt, but no, completely turns that ball over. It's really impressive.
And I've seen in slow motion that movement you're talking about with him. It looks ridiculously unnatural. The 1-2.
Well, that's the one thing. Whenever we show slow motion pitches, we're usually talking about the grip, but keep an eye on. You watch every guy, no matter what pitch you're throwing, you pronate. You pronate, you turn over. Even if you're throwing a curveball, eventually your arm comes back around and it'll pronate out and your wrist will face away. But to watch him hold that as just a regular changeup and the way he turns it over, ton of movement.
Turns it way in on Chu, and it's a full count.
And it looks really painful when you're watching slow motion, but it is the natural motion for every pitcher.
Now, Cotton has retired 12 consecutive Rangers. I mean, he has really settled in. But Chu has worked into a full count here and takes ball 4. So a walk to start the 5th inning. Now, he had really settled in nicely after the Gomez-Andrus-Mazara triumvirate of hits in that 1st inning.
Did a good job. You put the Raymond jinx on him, right? After saying 12 in a row.
Yeah, that's right. That's
kind of like you did with Heredia yesterday. Talked about Heredia, right? Not having, not a power guy. There it goes, right? That happens. We all make our mistakes.
Yeah.
And we always like to blame the guys in the booth because, of course, it's our fault.
Yeah.
You have unbelievable control over what happens on the field from here.
Well, listen, if I can take credit for the good things that happen, then I'm all in.
Harness your powers. Harness your powers for good, Dave.
So here's Gallo.
Rangers.
Popped up in the 1st inning. Two of the small lead at first, not going anywhere, and that one is in there for a strike. Gallo at .205 coming into today's game, but the on-base percentage respectable at .311. Leads the team with 6 walks. Although that is a lead he now shares with the man down at first base. Chu just drew his 6th walk of the year, and he'll draw a throw now from Cotton. I mentioned that Cotton was from the Virgin Islands, and that there are not many, major leaguers who were born in the Virgin Islands, and maybe one of the more productive careers that you could think of is a guy by the name of Jerry Brown, who came up as a Ranger, as a 20-year-old. 1-2 to Gallo. And then in recent years, about the only guy I can really remember was Midrick Cummings. Remember the Diamondbacks, although he was a well-traveled guy, kind of an extra guy. But there are not many. Right-hander's ready. And that one is down low.
And one thing with Cotton, you've got a runner at first, less than 2 outs. So he's only gotten 2 ground ball outs tonight. And it's a very short career. There's not a lot of data to look at, but he's only got about a 23% ground ball rate over the course of his career. So it's not a lot of ground balls, or excuse me, tonight it's been that, but it's been about 35%. But he's not a ground ball pitcher, is the point. And this is what probably has made this a really nice combination for him, the style in which he pitches and doing it here in Oakland where fly balls go to die.
Well, full count now on Gallo. So after very efficiently navigating the second, third, and fourth innings and getting himself out of his own jam in the first, he had an extended at bat with Chu, lost him on a walk, and now Gallo has worked him full as well. Here he comes, and that's ball four. Back-to-back walks. Gallo retakes the lead.
How about it? I mean, talk about it a lot with him so far this year. Seeing the ball really well, having a good understanding of the strike zone, putting together much tougher at bats, less holes, less places to go to get Joey Gallo to swing and miss. That's a big walk.
And Joey's done a really nice job early this season. For a little more on that, back down to Emily Jones.
Yeah, and we keep talking about the the changes in his approach at the plate. I think the thing that stuck out to me the most, having seen Joey over the last couple of seasons, is how comfortable he is in the clubhouse. The way he carries himself, the way he interacts with his teammates is so different than it's been in years past. And to see that, those two things taking place in conjunction, I think has gone a long way, especially to have that success or improvement here early on.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And Emily knows this clubhouse as good as anybody, has a really good feel for what's happening inside, and it is so important. It's so nice to have when you're in a clubhouse where you can be comfortable and there's guys that you can talk to, you can rely on, but really that sense of belonging, like feeling like you belong there, sometimes that can be a big hurdle for guys when they're first trying to break in.
Profar with a bunt to the third base side and handled by Plouffe, but both runners advance. So a sacrifice for Profar, and it gets Chu to third, Gallo to second base.
I like it. I'm in. When you have a guy that's throwing well and it's looking like it's going to be a tight game, and Jurickson Profar struggled a little bit, struck out looking in the second inning, go ahead and try to make something productive out of an out. Throw down a bunt, put a couple of runners in scoring position, and give Carlos Gomez and Elvis Andrus, so that you got two shots to try to drive in at least one run, maybe two. I know we talk about the numbers, a little higher percentage chance if you don't, but again, I look at the game situation and how things are going, who's at the plate, who's coming up next. I think it was a good move.
On the infield in for Gomez, and he'll shoot it right out into right center field. It gets 2 runs home and rolls all the way to the wall. Gomez thinks about 3, but he'll stop. Now he'll pick up and go.
Wow, racing the baseball almost. Carlos Gomez.
Oh, missed the cutoff man.
He did, and then as the ball was just kind of rolling almost next to him, and there was nobody that was going to get it. That's a great read. That's a little bit of an unusual play for a player, but I love this. The way this whole thing worked out, get the bunt down. Carlos Gomez has come hacking on a first pitch. Looked like it might have been some miscommunication and a missed sign, the way that we saw Maxwell react, but this ball was smoked, rolls all the way to the wall. But watch Carlos Gomez here. Goes around paying attention, doesn't have his head down. The ball's just rolling along with him to third base. A lot of guys, you stand up, you assume the throw is going to go to the cutoff man, just kind of put your head down. Good job, Carlos Gomez, paying attention and reacting on the errant throw.
A double, and then the error on Davis in center field. 2 RBIs for Gomez, and it is 3-0 Rangers. And Elvis Andrus. Elvis 1 for 2.
Say this about Carlos Gomez, regardless of what's going on, right? We know he's been struggling a little bit, coming in with that 149 batting average against. The intensity never goes down. The aggressiveness never goes down, regardless of how he's performing.
Breaking ball makes it 1-1 on Andrus. So a run on the first, 2 in this 5th inning. And Cotton, who was just cruising for the last handful of innings, a couple of walks, the double, and a bit of a struggle here in this 5th inning. And a big swing and a miss. No, Elvis has had the power stroke going, the 3 home runs, the 4 doubles this early part of the season. But that swing a little uncharacteristic. I'll see that one too often from Elvis. Infield all still up on the edge of the grass. Good speed down there at third and Gomez. And there's a strikeout of Andrews, 2 away.
And there was that slider / cutter that we see from Cotton, and one that was elevated too. A lot of times when I've seen him and watched him throw this pitch a little bit, he actually will elevate it intentionally, and it comes down just a little bit, but it's hard for a cutter. Or I should say hard for a slider, and probably right where it should be for a cutter, but it's not a lot of movement, but it certainly does look late and tight.
Now Mazzara, who drove in the run in the first inning, 1 for 2. You can see off to a very good start. 10 runs, 10 RBIs already at this point of the season. At least that many. Only 4 guys in the bigs who can claim that. Nomar currently leading the American League with 13 RBIs, rather 14 with the RBI picked up in the first inning. And he's got one right out there at third base in Gomez. Cotton's 1-0. Well, you don't see a whole lot of changed expression out of Jarrell Cotton.
He certainly has kept his composure. We saw it in the first inning. We're seeing it again here where he's been in some trouble in the 5th.
Zara takes it in. It's 3-0. Pitches by inning. How about that first inning? Man, 32. It was a lot of work, and once again here in the 5th inning he's really working, and now they're just going to intentionally put Mazzara at first, so they'll
back-to-back 6-pitch innings. It's not something you're going to see very often in the big leagues. Now with that intentional walk, that's the 3rd walk of the game for Cotton. It's been a very short career, but 3 was his previous high. He does not walk a lot of guys, and that is actually his first intentional walk too of his career.
Number 5, Mike Napoli.
And it brings up Mike Napoli. So Bob Melvin much more comfortable facing the right-handed hitter than the left-handed slugging Mazzara, who has just carved up right-handed pitchers so far this year. Strike out of the first, fly out in the 4th inning for Napoli. Bluffed that time. 1-1 the count.
That's in back-to-back cutters from Cotton, and you wonder a little bit if that's the pitch that's feeling a little bit more comfortable to him. Also knowing that Mike Napoli is such a good fastball hitter, the idea of trying to throw something off the fastball, trying to keep Mike Napoli off balance here a little bit.
Cotton's 1-1. There's a big swing and a miss. Gomez and the big double. Mazzara with the walk. Runners on the corners. 2 runs already across. Mike Napoli and the Rangers would like to cash in some more here. Cotton deals. And that one fouled off. Napoli continuing to battle. Jarrell Cotton. Just a couple of moments in tonight's game that have caused him trouble. Coulomb beginning to loosen up in the A's pen. So he may be nearing the end of his night. Last time out through 7 shutout innings at the Kansas City Royals. Now just 2 hits. Not as fortunate tonight. Runner is going. The pitch in the dirt. And it's 2-2, and Nomar Mazzara with his first stolen base of the season. So now a base hit would play 2.
Well, straight steal here from Nomar, looking in, of course, to see if there's any action, and it's an uncontested stolen base.
It seems like a kind of, I don't know, wasted moment, but it's not at all. One can find the outfield, and that one headed down the left field line, and it is a fair ball, and that will easily score 2. Napoli into second base, and it's 5-0 Rangers. So Mike Napoli picks up his second double of the year, and the Rangers cash in a couple of big 2-out runs.
This is a good at bat from Mike Napoli, and ultimately he does get that cutter again, down and away, goes out and gets it, hooks it. Certainly has to feel good, and I think you brought up a great point. The idea of Nomar Mazara taking that base, not much of a challenge put up, makes it much easier for him to score it. He probably would have scored from that on first, but certainly not a guarantee, obviously, in the same fashion with him coming from second.
Now Rougned Odor. Not out of the woods yet. Odor. Frustrated with his first 2 at-bats today. Average dipping now right down to an even 200. One-strike pitch. And that one nibbles the corner. Saw the reaction there from Odor. And he knew it. Not happy about it, but he knew it. It's a 4-run inning. Two-strike pitch. And that one lifted high in the air. And left side of the infield. Trevor Plouffe wants it. And that'll do it. But 4 runs come across in the 5th.
How about Carlos Gomez? The single in the first, the double in the 5th, a couple of RBIs for him. He has helped get the Rangers way out front here in the 5th inning.
By a score of 5-0. AJ Griffin back out on the mound and really having a nice outing here tonight. 11 of 13 first pitch strikes to batters tonight. He's working at a great pace. Things working for AJ Griffin. One thing to keep your eyes out for, continuing that pace of play and of course that winning combination, throwing those first pitch strikes and attacking the zone. One thing about his last start though, he did mention how the long layoff with a big inning kind of affected him, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds after that big inning last time out, guys.
Yeah, that is a good point, because that was a long half inning, and it is a cool night tonight here in Oakland.
It is, and update that number now, 12 of 14 as he threw a first pitch strike. Again, certainly a nice key to success, getting ahead, letting hitters know that you're going to be coming right at them.
2-2 the count to Stephen Vogt. Vogt is the only Oakland A with a hit so far tonight. You have the double back in the second inning.
And on that 0-2 count, AJ just kind of let one get away from him a little bit.
This one off the handle foul and will just about reach the stands.
Now you think about right now the way that the Texas Rangers are positioned, and then he throws that pitch up and in, which is a really nice job. We talk about all the foul territory, but look where Joey Gallo is over there. That's a long run. A foul ball, like that one barely went in, but it was so far away from where Joey Gallo is standing.
Now it's a full count on Vogt. So a couple of lefties to start this fifth inning. Vogt and then Yonder Alonso. A.J. Griffin, after a long sit in the dugout, while the Rangers sent 8 batters to the plate at the top of the fifth. It's 3-2. This one hit well, but foul. Now, as a starting pitcher, of course, you want the run support. That is obvious. But when you're clipping along and you're feeling good and you're in a zone, would you sacrifice a couple of runs for a quick return to the mound sometimes, middle of the game? If you, let's say, if you were already leading.
So you apparently have not been to my baseball reference page.
No.
I'll give you the answer. Be like, no, I'll take everyone I can get. No, there is times when you're thinking it. There is actually a little bit of truth to that.
Liner into left, and another diving catch by Profar. We saw him do that in Seattle. This one, a really much more spectacular play by Jurickson.
Very nice play here by Jurickson. Profar, I think about trying to make that adjustment to the outfield, and he's done it pretty quickly. This is a good jump and a really good read and an instant smile before he's even finished diving there, because you know what? It's fun. It's fun diving. Get your uniform dirty. Doesn't matter how old you are. It's a really nice play, though. Those are not easy. Running in, sometimes you get caught in between. Do you want to slide? Do you want to dive? You mentioned it. We saw the same thing earlier when he just missed as well in the outfield. But Jurickson Profar has adjusted, I think, pretty well to the outfield and maybe a couple of blades of grass. I don't know what happened there. Hopefully he's not choking.
Well, there's ball 1 to Yonder Alonso, one of the very few who have come to the plate and not seen strike 1 out of the hand of A.J. Griffin.
And as much as we talk about strike 1, which is important, without a doubt, there is an old adage among pitching coaches. They will tell you the most important pitch is really within the first 3 or the 1-1 pitch. The difference between being 1 and 2 versus 2 and 1, the numbers are astronomical as far as what happens afterwards. And so you get a lot of pitching coaches that preach that. So here's a perfect example. AJ gets in a situation, doesn't throw the first pitch strike, but he's in a 1-2 count. He's in a great spot.
And here it comes, a curveball, and that one lifted high in the air, short left field, long run for Profar, but this time can stay on his feet. 2 away in the 5th inning. We check it again with Dana Larson back in the studios, a Chevy Game Break.
Now batting third baseman, number 3, Trevor Hoot.
Thanks, Dana. And it's a 5-0 game here. A.J. Griffin looking sharp and deals low to Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe struck out in the 2nd inning. There was a stretch where Griffin got 6 straight outs, all on strikeouts. And it's 1-1. And there was just one guy who snuck in there. It was Vogt with the double, breaking up what otherwise would have been 6 consecutive Ks. The franchise record is 7 straight strikeouts. You'll be surprised to know that Nolan Ryan, who, holds that in.
Surprise, surprise. You see A.J. Griffin really doing a nice job of filling up the strike zone, not just those first pitch strikes, but has continued it. 65% for him tonight.
1-2. Another curve. Boy, that curve's working for him.
Looks good. You mentioned that run support, and AJ is very well aware of the fact that he has gotten good run support. Now he has 72 career starts. This is his 73rd tonight. In a quick reference going back to 2012 when he first broke in, of starting pitchers with at least 70 starts. A.J. Griffin has the 3rd highest run support since 2012.
Another strikeout for A.J. Griffin. This time it's Trevor Plouffe. And another 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Griffin. And he's had the K working tonight. Rangers by 5.
Hasn't happened yet. It's time for this Sonic Slam inning, and it's brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Today's jackpot is worth $1,300 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Today the Rangers are hitting for Lori Beaudre of Dallas, Texas. If a Texas Ranger hits a home run during this inning, she will win $1,300. If a Texas Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, she will win $25,000. Now, Dave has read this promo consistently from the start of the season.
12 times in a row.
And we haven't had a winner yet.
0 for 12.
So something is about to change. Well, at least with reading it. Hopefully, we'll also have a winner to go with it. And Lori, forgive me if I pronounce your last name wrong. B-O-W-D-R-E. That's how we spell Beaudre. I don't know. Beaudre? I don't know. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I did my best.
She will not mind if we get the home run this inning. 1-1. Bouncer down to third, and Plouffe is there. Good strong throw, and Lucroy retired to start the 6th. That was nicely done, though. I commend you. Now, the Rangers will take on the Kansas City Royals this Saturday. It's a 7:05 game. Fire up the grill. First 15,000 fans 14 and older. We've got a Rangers barbecue die-cut spatula courtesy of Lynx. Get your tickets. TexasRangers.com or 972-RANGERS. All right.
So my wife got a text from some friends that are huge Ranger fans, live in Atlanta, Georgia. Got to have the spatula. I said, I'm not going to be there for the giveaway. I said, I got to get my own hands on a spatula.
I mean, really, you're starting to put the pressure on.
I don't think I can get 2 spatulas. And if I get one, guess who's keeping it? This guy.
2-0 to Chew. Now, the problem is, I guess these are friends of yours back at home. They could always just come over and take it off the wall and use it, right? Because it's not like you're going to use it.
That'll be nailed to the wall. It's not going to come off that easily.
Chew walked his last time up. He scored one of the Rangers' 5 runs. And that one a little bit in, so it's 3-0. Well, Gerald Cotton gave up 4 runs in that 5th inning, and it started to look like that might be it for him, but he has come back out here in the 6th inning. Pitch count still well below 100, and he pumps one in for strike 1 to Chew.
Yeah, there's an argument for both sides of it, and I think in the case of Bob Melvin, he's looking at his young starter, and do we believe that the Oakland A's are going to be contenders? Probably not. They're still in the developmental stage, and so you take a young guy, you push him a little bit. Let him find out what his own limits are like. Let him find out what it's like maybe to be a little bit tired. I'm good with that. He comes out right away. They're going to make a change, but they'll give him that chance. You know, he's losing 5-0, and it's pretty easy to take him out and let him go hit the showers, but throw him out there when he's a little tired and maybe see what he's made of.
Yep. That walk, the best indication, a career high walks given up today by that young man. Speed replay and the 5th inning. Carlos Gomez. First inning was the Gomez RBI double. Then 4 runs in the 5th inning. Rangers scoring some runs without a home run today.
How about all that talk, right, about the most runs scored via the home run, and that's been an issue. Not an issue, but that's kind of what's been going on with this offense in Texas. And they come out in the 5th inning, walk, sack fly, right? Excuse me, sack bunt, and then we see the double, and manufacturing some runs and some really good at bats, really good base running. You got to be able to do it both ways. You do not want to be one-dimensional as an offense, and we're seeing a little bit of a different side here to the Texas Rangers.
5-0 lead, and Daniel Coulomb has come on in relief of Jarrell Cotton. This ball hit sharply foul by Gallo. The count 0-2. Gallo walked and scored in the 5th inning.
My bad. You'll see a fastball sit right around 90 miles an hour. Interesting when you see a lefty come in, more often than not a reliever is going to throw the slider or the curveball. He actually throws both at about the same rate without the changeup. So it's going to be forcing fastball, slider, and curveball that the lefties are going to have to deal with. Usually when you go lefty on lefty as a hitter, it's one breaking ball that you have to contend with. But Joey Gallo is going to have to work with 2 going against him.
Fouls off again, and the count stays 0-2. Chu is at first base, 1 out. Rangers lead 5-0. And Coulomb is a guy they saw, quite a bit. In fact, Coulomb has pitched, and now this will be his 11th game against the Rangers, and they have gotten 7 runs on 12 hits against him, and just a little better than 11 innings total. So they've handled him well. And Chu getting a little instruction. Ortiz backing into the coach's box.
See him throwing over. Just 2 stolen bases against him in his career. He's done a pretty good job of holding runners in the 58 games that he's already pitched. 59th now tonight in the big leagues.
Chu with a decent lead, but not going anyplace, and that one is outside. 1-2 to Gallo. I think there might be a little drizzle coming down again. They were calling it rain earlier today. To me, it never really looked quite like rain.
Never got heavy, never got steady. A little more mist to it, but there certainly was some accumulation on the field on the tarp as well.
Ground ball, second base. Lowry with a good diving stop, and he's able to get Gallo. Chu gets to second base, but another nice defensive play tonight by Jed Lowry.
Very nice. And he was actually over in the hole, of course, with Joey Gallo, the left-handed hitter, so he's got to go far to his right. And what a lot of these big league infielders do is they make that throw look so easy from one knee. That is not an easy throw. It's a long throw to try to make from one knee. But we know Jed Lowry's always had the good gloves. A lot of time it's shortstop for him. That's a good throw. Not an easy one to make.
Oh, Chu out there at second. Here's Profar. A couple of 2-out runs last inning. And Profar's had a nice day. A couple of good defensive plays and laid down the good sacrifice bunt in the 5th inning.
Interesting conversation talking to Jeff Bannister. I love talking baseball with him, but we're having the conversation. Actually, I take it back. This one was with Anthony Iapoce about team at-bats. Right? There's a lot of things you can do as an individual, as a baseball player, and there's a lot of things that your team needs you to do and have the team approach when you're up at the plate. Now, that could mean, are you willing to hit the ground ball to the right side, say with a runner at second and nobody out? Are you going to continue to take big swings and try to hit home runs? And those little things, situational hitting, which has become somewhat of a lost art. So you look at Jerks and Profar's last at bat, and the willingness not just to get the sacrifice down. It sounds easy, but some guys don't commit to it. They don't always get the bat in there and do a good job, and they kind of give a half effort. I thought Profar did a really nice job. Good team at bat with that sac bunt.
This fly ball out into right field, handled by Joyce, ends the top of the 6th inning. Rangers leave a man out at second base. To the bottom of the 5th, rather 6th, we go tonight. West. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. What a spectacular sight here in the Bay Area as we get going here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 5-0 Rangers leading. Bruce Maxwell leading things off in the 6th inning, and the performance tonight has been all about A.J. Griffin. Right-hander is dealt 1-1 the count. He's got a first pitch strike now. Let's see, 12, 13, 14 of 17 hitters. Does that sound right? Something like that.
I'll take your word for it, Dave.
Yeah.
No, it does sound about right. He's been doing a great job of filling up the strike zone. You know, you mentioned before, we didn't get a chance to expand on it as much as far as, are there pitchers saying, okay, you know what, wouldn't mind maybe one less run, just to get me back on the mound, keep my body warm, keep going. And I think for some guys, you want every run you can get, but there are some guys like, all right, you get anxious, you want to get back out there, so you kind of want it all. Pretty selfish,
of course.
You know, it's kind of how we are.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, you're never going to say, you know, please don't score runs.
Yeah. Stop.
It's not going to happen.
Cut it out.
I mean, AJ's got to be used to it. You know, I mentioned where he is with the great run support that he has gotten over the course of his career. I would have thought about it. He actually brought it up, and you'd go and look and you say, yeah, since 2012, for guys that have had at least the same amount of starts as he's had, third highest in baseball, about 5.8 per game. That's a lot of runs. So he's probably used to the big innings and sitting around, even though it can be a little frustrating. Not frustrating is the wrong word, but even though you get a little anxious about wanting to get back out there.
Well, you can see Jeff Bannister preparing himself for that point tonight where A.J. Griffin won't be able to go any deeper in the game, already with activity in the bullpen. A rolling ball down to first. Mike Napoli will race it to the bag ahead of Maxwell, 1 away. All right, there's certainly nothing that we have seen so far, just the 1 hit allowed and the walk to start the game. That's it against Griffin. Pitch count at 85. I mean, you would think maybe he'd be good to go certainly through the 6th, maybe out again in the 7th inning should he get through this inning with relative ease.
Yeah, interesting. I think that you see double barrels in the bullpen, lefty and a righty throwing, and just maybe here for Jeff Bannister protecting against anything that could happen. You know, the one thing again we talk about AJ, because of the quick pace, because he throws a lot of strikes, if a rally was going to get put together, it could happen pretty quickly. And so maybe the idea of just being a little bit proactive here with AJ.
So Adam Rosales takes strike 1 and then watches a curveball.
And he is already at a season high for his pitch count. You see him there at 87. It was 83 in his last start, 75 the start before that. And after Rosales is up, he will be flipping the lineup over for the 3rd time. That's another thing. You get certain managers, I'm not saying this is necessarily the case with AJ, but sometimes with certain pitchers, they worry about how many times you're going to see those same hitters over and over again. And so if Jeff Bannister has any concerns about 3rd time through the lineup, even though AJ looks locked in right now, he probably wants to make sure he has somebody ready just in case.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Adam Rosales, and he strikes out swinging. And another K tonight. That is number 8 for A.J. Griffin, 1 shy of his career high.
Let's see it. Continues to get it done and keeping these hitters completely off balance. I mean, that pitch is so absurd. I mean, it just comes out with a big parachute on it, but it's not a slow roller. It's not a sloppy breaking ball where it's just flipped in there with some good movement. It still has bite, which is not an easy thing to do with that velocity.
Now it goes after Davis, who pops this one up. First base side, Napoli into foul ground. And it's a 1-2-3, bottom of the 6th inning for A.J. Griffin. He's faced 1 over the minimum through 6. All Rangers. For A.J. Griffin. Great job tonight. How about this moment, though?
A lot of fun here for Rougned Odor. We know about the relationship between him and Mike Napoli, but how about his reaction here on Nap making this catch? He did it! He did it! Super jazzed for his buddy.
That is awesome right there.
The best part of playing this game is that you get to be a child throughout your adult life and act like it's Little League, and Rougned Odor having a little bit of fun with Mike Napoli.
Well, and that little pop-out ended 6 brilliant innings for A.J. Griffin tonight. What an effort. Is now top of the order in his 7th inning for the Rangers, and Gomez fouls off strike one from Frankie Montas. Yeah, having a good time down there tonight. It's easier when you're winning 5-0. A little more on that. What do you got, Emily?
Yeah, I had a funny conversation, a brief one with Jeff Bannister. It's been a few days, but he looked at me at one point and said, when we play like a bunch of 12-year-olds is when we do well. It's when we play like adults that we get ourselves into trouble.
And it makes sense. At first, you're like, don't you want these guys to kind of act like they're older than 12? But no, the idea is that guys are relaxed, having fun. Right, we're talking about some early infield work and make sure you're not trying to do too much, putting too much pressure on yourself. And this is a long season, the longest of any of the major sports. It is an absolute grind to get through a season, and when you go through a losing stretch or a couple bad games or whatever it may be, it's easy to let that pressure mount, and then it becomes the job of your leaders in the clubhouse, your coaches, to somehow try to get guys to ease up on the intensity. And I think that was kind of Jeff Bannister's point, is that this team is at its best when it's relaxed, and I think that probably goes for a lot of teams. And as much as this clubhouse is about character, it's also about having fun with accountability. Those two things kind of have to work together. And Jeff Bannister likes his team a lot better when they're relaxed and having fun.
That is not a trivial balance to strike, by the way. That is the great challenge of the job. Boy, that one ripped down to third base. Plouffe on top of it to put away Elvis Andrus. 2 quick outs for Frankie Montas. We take a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. Back here again tomorrow night, and then sleep fast because it's a quick one out here Wednesday to wrap up this long road trip. And believe it or not, Rangers coming home, and they will start Thursday night a 4-game series with the Kansas City Royals. Two outs, and here comes Mazara, who has been on base twice today. He doubled in the first inning, walked and scored in the 5th. Well, Frankie Montas has come on in this inning for Oakland. Daniel Coulombe finished off the 6th. Take a look at Montas. We saw him back at the last homestand. This one fouled away. It's 1-1. Montas suffered through some rib cage injuries last year and missed nearly the entire season. Pitched a little bit of AA and AAA, a total of 7 games. That's when he was in the Dodgers system. He and Jarrell Cotton came over in the same deal. Jarrell Cotton, the man who started tonight for Oakland.
And of course was Rich Hill, right? Josh Reddick. Some pretty big names. Rich Hill having blister problems again this season. That was a big problem for him last year.
Bouncer by the mound. Third baseman Plouffe cuts it off and gets it to first in time. And so Montas cuts down the Rangers in order in the 7th. They'll stand at stretch here in Oakland. Rangers leading by 5.
Unlimited Baseball Break brought to you by T-Mobile. Taking a look at what's been going on around the league. How about the New York Yankees? 8 straight wins. They weren't supposed to be contenders this year. Trey Mancini with the Baltimore Orioles, 3rd player since 1913. 7 home runs. Now, if you're thinking someone's going to hit 7 home runs in 12 career games or starting this year, you wouldn't think it would be Trey Mancini with all the power. And Josh Reddick, who we were just mentioning, now with the Houston Astros after that trade to the Dodgers a year ago. 3 for 4 tonight. A pitching change now here for the Rangers.
Won 5 in a row now in Houston. High chopper to Odor, throws across his body and gets Matt Joyce 1 away. Alex Claudio has come on here. A.J. Griffin 6 shutout, and it's the 6th time this year that Claudio has come out of the bullpen.
It was a 1-pitch outing for him last time out. He wondered for a second, was it going to be a 1-pitch outing for him again? But he can give you length. He's a different kind of lefty, where he can do both in this situation, turning the switch hitter Lowry around. But one of my favorite pitches to watch him throw is that really good sidearm changeup. It's very effective against right-handed hitters.
Just one in on Lowry for ball 1. Jed Lowry has popped up twice tonight. 0 for 2. Average has dropped down to 267 for Lowry. Well, A.J. Griffin 6 shutout tonight. Just 1 hit allowed to your former team. Nice job.
Cruising too, right? I mean, just effortless. Almost seemed like he could have kept going. The pitch count was actually a little bit higher than it even felt like, and probably a lot of that due to the strikeouts that he had.
About at 8 strikeouts for A.J. Griffin, 1 short of his career best. He had just 2 3-ball counts tonight.
He was locked in. Knew exactly what he wanted to accomplish tonight, and really just executed consistently. That curveball was really good. The elevated fastball was really good. It's a really solid night for A.J. Griffin.
All right, a man on now as we take a quick trip back to the studio with Dana Larson.
Now batting left fielder, number 2, Chris Davis.
All right, thanks, Dana. Another Chevy game break. Quick bouncer, second base. Odor to second one, and Andrus on to first. And just like that, the walk erased on the double play, and it's the minimum 3 for Claudio. We go to the 8th. A Grammy Award-winning hip-hop artist Lecrae will be performing a post-game concert on Sunday, April 30th, presented by Buckner International. So come check out the Rangers and the Los Angeles Angels at 2:05 game. Enjoy the concert after the game. Head to TexasRangers.com/concerts for game tickets and information on how you can see Lecrae from the field. Here we go. Mike Napoli takes strike one from Frankie Montas, who, by the way, was really good in the 7th inning. Retired the 3 batters he faced. Napoli had the 2-run double earlier tonight. And watch his strike 2. Well, that's a short at bat for Mike Napoli. Second strikeout for Montas. He came right after him. I'll bring up Rougned Odor. Hey, every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, weekdays from 8:30 in the morning till 11 a.m. Central, only on FS1.
Montas has shown some velocity here, and you can see why he's been a highly regarded guy, one of these prospects that came over from the Dodgers. And to see 2 guys that were involved in a pretty big trade tonight, both, although that we saw a little bit some struggles there from Cotton in the first and the last inning, but you can see the upside and the potential here for both of these guys and how they could be impact down the road for the A's.
Taking a long look into Maxwell, and then gets Odor to swing and miss. Ruby holding the pose. 0-2. Odor hitless so far tonight in 3 tries. Rangers got a run in the first, got 4 in the 5th, and Odor smacks that one foul. And so the average has dipped under 200. Well, probably worth revisiting, in as much as we talked about this 3 hours ago, whatever it was when we started this game. Some roster moves today for the Rangers. Sam Dyson went to the disabled list, was hit on his hand on that ground ball yesterday, the ball he was trying to field on a comebacker, and he has a contusion on his right hand. He goes to the 10-day disabled list. And Keone Kela was activated today, called up earlier, and is here. He is in uniform and available tonight if needed. The 0-2. Bouncing ball up the middle, and that one off of the glove of Lowry. Odor with a base hit, and nearly lost the base hit because of the little carom off the mound.
Well, as Dave mentioned, what we saw with the roster move here with Keone Kela getting activated, Dyson to the DL. This is, the first step, maybe not the part of Sam Dyson going to the DL, but maybe this bullpen just getting a little bit stronger. Kela's got the big arm. He can be an impact arm at the back end of a game, in close games, in big situations, and it was unfortunate that he did not get to start the season here with the Rangers. They made that decision, but he is here now, and you put that behind you and you go forward and you ask him to do what he's extremely capable of, which is getting big outs. It's been a struggle. There's been some issues in the bullpen, and so hopefully this is one of not too many steps, but one of at least a big first step as far as trying to get things under control here a little bit.
Odor is at first, and Lucroy fouls this one back. Count 0-2. I think it's also one of those things, about a week ago when the Rangers had suffered through a couple of tough losses, I thought, well, you know what? Every time I turn on the TV, I'm seeing another team walk off a game. It's not just the games I've been watching. So we made some inquiries, and sure enough, although it was just a weekend, we were about twice the number of walk-off wins this year as opposed to last year. And then now here we are, a little past 2 weeks into the season. Checked up again today, and that pace is holding.
Really?
Everybody's having trouble right now around Major League Baseball. I should say everybody, but I saw a graphic today. It said it's not just you, because a lot of teams are struggling with finishing off games.
Some changes at closer as well, whether it be injury or performance-based for teams as well. And listen, that is part of the bullpen. Getting consistent relievers to dominate the way that we see certain guys do is not an easy thing. I think sometimes that's taken for granted. And you look at relief pitchers, and year to year can be unpredictable.
There's Waldo. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
no,
I just
it's
found
Dr.
it.
Seuss.
I found it. It was hard tonight too with this crowd. Whew. This ball hit well center field. Davis angling to his right though, and it's not going to carry. 2 gone. And 2 away now with a man on, and Chu coming up. So, look, the big story right now, and it's pretty obvious. If you've been following what's been going on, the pitching breakdown. Now, these are for all of Major League Baseball. You can see the starters. Well, the ERA is better than in years past. But look at the bullpen ERA over the last 3 years. 3.5, 3.25, 4.10 this year in Major League Baseball. Bullpens are harder and harder to keep together and keep functioning well all around baseball.
It's interesting because I think individual performances over these last few years have really taken off in a positive direction for bullpens, right? We're seeing more guys kind of come to the forefront, non-closers, getting a little bit more attention, a little bit more appreciation for what they do. Guys like Andrew Miller, as an example, Dylan Betances, big arms, strikeout arms that aren't necessarily your closer. So it's a little surprising, but it takes more than one guy, right? It's a depth of a bullpen. And early on, yeah, there have been some struggles around the league. I think that balances out over time, but so far here, a little bit of a slow start around the game and the back end of the bullpens.
3-0 to Shin-Soo Choo, who has walked twice today already. And Frankie Montas was retired. 5 of the 6 batters he has faced, in danger of putting 2 men on for Joey Gallo, who waits on deck. Already 5-0 Rangers. We're in the 8th. That one fired in there for a strike. Chu waiting left side with the 2 walks today. He has taken over the team lead, and he watches ball 4. So 3 times tonight he has walked. 2 men on for Joey Gallo. All right, our game tomorrow night, AT&T pitching matchup, has Yu Darvish against Andrew Triggs. Triggs, a guy who had 6 career starts coming into this season, and that's part of the story for this A's franchise. Some very young, inexperienced starters, but you can see he's pitched pretty well.
Yes, he's been a contact guy so far through his 2 starts, just 4 strikeouts in 11 2/3 innings. But on the Rangers side of things, Yu Darvish looking really good in his last one. The swings and misses have increased every single start so far throughout the season, but I thought he looked really good in the last one.
Joey Gallo 0 for 2 with a walk. Now the starting pitching continues to be really good for the Rangers. I mean,
yep. No, without a doubt. And again, we've talked about it. We expect it to continue to get better. Andrew Cashner is back. Looked really good in his first start. Tyson Ross is lurking when and if the need arises, and getting him healthy. So they'll have pitching depth here. At least it feels that way right now on paper for the Rangers.
No balls, 2 strikes on Gallo. Odor is at second. Chu is at first. Trying to cash in some more 2-out runs tonight. And here's the pitch. That ball hit out to right field, but Joyce is there. Inning over. Rangers leave a pair, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 5-0. And you see the story today. A.J. Griffin, 6 shutout innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, a season best 8 strikeouts. And then Carlos Gomez having a great day at the plate. He's driven in a couple. He has scored a couple. 2 for 4. Oh, the A's have had just one man get as far as second base tonight, and that was Stephen Vogt back in the 2nd inning, and he will start things off here in the 8th inning.
So I'll tell you this. You mentioned some really good things that have happened tonight, but what happened last inning with Alex Claudio, to me, may be the greatest thing that we have seen tonight. If you were paying close attention, you see this ball popped up. Jonathan Lucroy. But what he did last inning, I would question how many times that's ever been done in Major League Baseball. That would take some significant research. He threw 6 pitches. Okay. He threw 2 strikes, and he got 3 outs. Yeah, I mean, come on. Now he's up to 8. He's 4 and 4.
Now batting first baseman.
First pitch out, 4 pitch walk, first pitch double play. I'm telling you, man, we might have seen history.
Yeah, it'd be sort of hard to get more.
It's unbelievable.
With fewer strikes. Yeah, that's a good one.
I got something to do tonight now. Research away when I get back to the hotel.
Yonder Alonso takes the ball. Now wait a minute though. You could come in a game, bases loaded, nobody out, throw 1 pitch, get 3 outs, right?
Without a doubt. I'm talking clean inning, beginning to end. You start and finish the inning.
Yeah.
And you only throw 2 strikes and get 3 outs.
That has to be. That boy, I don't know.
You could do the 2 walks and 1 pitch for the triple play.
That's true. There you go.
But come on, let's not get ridiculous.
It's too late. 1 out. And a 1-1 to Alonso. So a little more activity. Jefferson, Leclerc going. It's been as nifty a game as we have seen yet this year. 1-2. Just off the plate. Claudio trying to get through 2 innings in relief, or so it would appear. And there's his first strikeout of the night. So April 25th, it's going to be your next chance to take advantage of Fox Sports Southwest $10 Tuesday. Tickets for the Twins-Rangers game are just $10. You can add a $10 meal when purchasing online. Go to texasrangers.com/specials and get your $10 Tuesday tickets for April 25th using the coupon code FSSW10.
Hey, not only for Claudio, first strikeout tonight, first strikeout of the year for him. As good as he has been, he actually had not struck out a hitter yet.
Trevor Plouffe takes 1 in, and the count 1-1. Yeah, that's another good one. Couple of strikeouts for Plouffe tonight. And this one hit sharply up the middle, a base hit for Plouffe. That is just the 2nd hit tonight for the A's. Baseball being walked back to the mound to Claudio.
And Jeff Bannister
looking around.
Keeping an eye to see if there's going to be a pinch hitter here in this situation. Maxwell due up, left-handed hitter, but it does appear that we will see a pinch hitter, and then the decision now for Jeff Bannister is whether or not he wants to go to a righty. And Jonathan Lucroy is walking out to the mound, so it's a matter of, does somebody in the bullpen need a little bit more time? That one feels like, or this one feels like that might be the case. Or just talking strategy with Healy now, the pinch hitter.
Well, Ryan Healy has been announced. So Bruce Maxwell just called up today from AAA Nashville. And his day is done as he gives way to Healy. Healy was the guy who did so much damage in that 3-game series back at Globe Life Park last week. It was a real tough out, and he takes strike 1. Pinch hitting here in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 5-0 game. We were talking last inning about some of the moves for the Rangers. And there was a lot of news today, the last 24 hours for these Oakland A's. Healy rips this one down the left field line, and that's a fair ball into the corner. Plouffe into third base. He'll stop there on Healy's double. And so the A's have him second and third with 2 out. And Jeff Bannister is on his way to the mound. So that'll do it for Alex Claudio. Although I guess we haven't seen the official signal yet. There it is. And that'll do it. Claudio done. We go to the bullpen. 5-0 Rangers. Fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't watch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by Hyundai. So, a move to the pen here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jeremy Jeffress comes on. This is his 9th appearance, which will give him the most in the American League, tie him for the Major League lead.
Yeah, he came in today, tied second in the big leagues. You look at the appearances. Now it's 6 innings. Now, all appearances are not created equal. And so you look at it and say, okay, it was getting some high usage here. I dug in a little bit deeper. The 6 innings pitched were actually tied for 60th amongst relievers right now. And the pitches used. He's thrown 95 pitches coming into tonight. That ties him for 88th amongst relievers. And actually tied with Tony Barnett, who also has 95 pitches thrown this season. Now, again, that doesn't even tell the whole story, but just to kind of dig in a little bit further and maybe not panic over the appearances, it's also how many times if you warmed up, high stress, everything else that kind of goes along with being the reliever, how many times you've gone back-to-back, how many real off days you've had. A real off day where you don't even get up and warm up, those are really important. You may pitch, you know, on a Thursday and a Saturday, but did you also warm up on that Friday? That matters as well. But Jeffress has been really good, and so it's very easy to see why in a situation that's important, critical kind of shutdown at bat, that Jeff Bannister would go to him.
Jeff Decker, the pinch hitter, grounds one to short. Andrus gets him at first, and the inning is over, and so Jeffress does the job, and he takes this game to the 9th inning. Rangers with a 5-0 lead.
Profar.
And Jurickson Profar, 9th place hitter, will lead things off for the Rangers. 5-0 lead. Great job by Jeffress to come in and get that out of Rosales and in the inning. Liam Hendricks misses with ball 1. Hendricks is the 4th pitcher of the night for the Oakland A's. By the way, there were moments where Jarrell Cotton, who had the start, was pretty good. In fact, there was a nice stretch there where he retired 12 consecutive Rangers, but he gave up a run in the 1st, and he ended up allowing 4 runs in the 5th inning, and it really kind of marred the night for him. This one is inside to Profar. It's 2-1. 5th outing for Hendricks.
You see the numbers there. A little bit of a slow start as far as the ERA, but I don't look at ERA when you've pitched 4 games. And as a reliever, all it takes is 1 or 2 bad ones, and it takes a little while to get that down. Sam Dyson will battle that the rest of the year. Once he gets healthy, you can forget about his ERA till June. You don't even look at it. You just get after it, as we see some defensive changes here.
Josh Fagley comes in to catch. We see Chad Pender now at shortstop. So a handful of changes for Oakland in this 9th inning, and that breaking ball misses low. It's a full count now to Profar. Well, so far tonight, a very good way to start this series in Oakland. The 3-2 pitch foul back.
That's a good looking swing there from Jurickson Profar. Just missed that fastball. More 2-seamers than 4-seamers that you'll see from Hendricks. But Velocity's good. 94. Some good movement.
Well, he's gone full on Profar. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat. And Profar fouls this one off as well. So Jurickson doing battle. The Rangers have done a real nice job in that regard today. Some great at bats all the way around, but you've guys like Shin-Soo Choo drew 3 walks. Gallo drew a walk tonight, as did Nomar Mazara. And Carlos Gomez, the first at bat of the game tonight, may have set the tone. It was a 10-pitch at bat.
Makes all the difference in the world, and there's a lot of value in what he did. Now, we credited Cotton for bouncing back after that 1st inning, hanging in there a little bit longer, but we'll take a look at what he did. And that base hit that he had in the 1st inning, good at bat, great follow through, some style as Carlos always brings to the table. But then it was the big double, jumping out early, 1st pitch, going after a fastball, driving it in the gap, and then it was the exceptional base running as well to follow along with that double as the ball got away. Heads up play by Carlos.
So Profar with a walk. He's at first. And a chance for Gomez to pick up potentially a 3rd hit tonight. And he watches a ball on the hard-throwing right-hander, Liam Hendricks.
You know, going back to what Emily was talking about and what Jeff Bannister said about playing like you're 12 years old and being relaxed. There's some batting averages if you go up and down this lineup that you might be like, hey, something wrong, what's going on? It's easy, like maybe to put a little bit of pressure on yourselves, or even as a collective group where they could start to feel that pressure. I mean, outside of, you know, Elvis Andrus and Nomar Mazara, most of these batting averages are not where you would expect them to be. Now, batting average does not tell you the entire story, but staying loose, staying confident is extremely important. Carlos Gomez, we haven't seen any change in his demeanor while he struggled. He's the same guy whether he's doing well or not.
Profar will move up on the wild pitch. He's out there at 2nd base.
They stay loose. It matters. And I think Mike Napoli does a great job of helping set that tone. I was fortunate to kind of be standing in the right place at the right time and listening to him just a little bit, kind of long earring, eavesdropping on a conversation, and got out of there. Didn't do it too long, but just, you know, you could see he was talking to Carlos Gomez, you know, talking, hitting. They're both, you know, whatever batting average are, maybe not exactly where everybody wants them to be, but just talking, hitting mechanics, approach. And those are great conversations. Those are things that you miss being a part of once you're done playing and digging in with your teammates a little bit and trying to problem solve. And there's no doubt that this team has been able to remain loose.
This one outside, and it's 3 balls and a strike on Gomez. 5 runs, 6 hits. No errors tonight for the Rangers, and no runs, only 3 hits for the Oakland A's. They have committed an error in today's game. Profar out there at second base, a 3-1 pitch, and it's a full count now on Gomez.
And I'd like to give myself the Ironman Award for tonight. It's pretty cold up here.
It is chilly.
I've gone no jacket.
You
have like 4 jackets on.
Yep. I was confused why you. I mean,
Charlene's also got a couple jackets on. There's a lot of layers going on here, and I'm not even sure if it was a smart move. So I'm getting pretty chilly. I got to the point now where my pride's starting to get in the way, and I'm like, we're almost there. I'm going to finish this thing out.
I say you gotta get the complete game.
What's that?
Got to get the complete game on this one.
I would like to get the CG. You know, I came in, I'm like, I'll be fine, and I got my jacket hanging over there, but I didn't bring my outer jacket. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3. I'm sure you got an undershirt on there too.
Oh yeah.
You got a T-shirt?
Absolutely. And then the sports coat, and then the little overcoat.
It's time for you to man up, Dave Raymond.
3-2 pitch, and that is ball 4. So here's the thing, right? A man learns from experience as he gets older.
This is true.
And that, in a lot of ways, is what makes him a man. The child is the guy who's going to hang out and try and somehow, beat the cold? What do you
do? Something dumb? Yeah. I don't know what it is. I was like, it's not as bad as I thought. And then around the 4th or 5th inning, I was like, well, this isn't going to work out the way I thought it was going to work out, but I'm going to ride it out.
Yeah. Well, I've seen you trying to stay warm, playing the air drums between innings, and you lost the cap on the marker there at one point.
Part of it.
The perpetual motion, though, I know has helped. And tomorrow you might bring a jacket.
It's a really good chance.
Elvis Andrus, 1 for 4 today. You know, speaking of manning up and trying to stay warm, we were wondering about the batting gloves up in Seattle. I don't know if Emily is nearby. She can explain this one. It's count 1-1 to Elvis Andrus. We were wondering, like, wow, how about the flashy colors on these batting gloves we've seen? They really stood out, especially in Seattle, where it was even colder than it is here. And Emily, she got right down to the bottom of this whole thing.
She's our woman on the street.
1 and 2. What'd you learn on that one, Emily?
Well, I mean, I did some crack investigating and, you know, really dug deep into why the guys were making this fashion statement with the flashy neon gloves. And it's all about warmth. And those were the warm gloves. And so it wouldn't have mattered what color they were. Those guys want to stay warm. So a little bit colder in Seattle. They broke out the warm gloves, the flashy warm gloves.
They were flashy.
The fluorescent green.
Yeah.
Making a statement, no more Mazar. Listen, you're swinging the bat the way he is. You do whatever you want. But this gloves looked a little thicker too, right? Part of it.
1-2 pitch. And then he'll square it to Andrus. So a couple of walks here for Liam Hendricks. And he throws very hard, but is having trouble controlling it. You know, all this talk about bullpen.
The A's got to break here real quick. Sorry to interrupt you, but watch this. The second baseman comes over. When you're standing on the bag, he gave the open glove. You do not throw a pitch there because the second baseman is now out of position. So a little bit of an oversight, but fortunately for the A's, they didn't throw a strike, and Elvis didn't put the ball in play.
Slow roller third, and Booth just does get Andrus at first. Boy, that one's close. And Jeff Bannister saying, hang on, hold on. We might want to look at this one.
First reaction live told me that Elvis Andrus got in there, but let's take a look at a slower replay and see if that foot got down. Ooh, close. That's a good look at it, too. Back of the glove. We'll tell you. Let's see. Oh, that's going to be a tough one to get turned over. That is really close. He probably was safe, but you always worry about getting what happened on the field turned over, and that one tells me no, but Jeff Bannister says yes. Might as well take the chance at this point in the game. Let's see here. This will be a good look here, too. Yeah, I don't think they're going to turn it over.
No, I don't think they're going to win this challenge. It's really close. I mean, the camera work that we get is just so incredible now.
It's in the glove there.
It's in the glove right there, and he's still an eighth of an inch off the bat.
Yep. And
it's just crazy.
Here's what's crazier about it. Like, you and I had to watch like 4 times. You kind of thought we maybe knew. More often than not, these guys are getting it right, and they've been so good. We give umpires a hard time, but they are very good at what they do. And we might have just set a record for the shortest replay.
Yeah, that was quick, boy. Yeah, they didn't need to look at that too long, so Andrus is out. But
yeah,
both runners advance, so Gomez is at second and Profar at third.
Well, the reason the replay, I think, happens so fast because of the great camera work, right? Sometimes you are waiting, takes a little bit longer to get the views that you're looking for, and Major League Baseball is working hard to try to speed up this process and try to keep most calls under 2 minutes is kind of the goal. Instant replay, we saw this the other day, taking about the same amount of time as it did a year ago, right at that 1 minute, 38 second, 39 second mark. They understand that it slows the game down. It's important for them to get things turned around and get them right as quickly as possible.
Infield in tight now, and Mazara takes ball 1. He's had to do this a couple of times already tonight. Mazara 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. He has driven in a run. He had a major league leading 13 coming in. He's added to that. It's 2-0. So I was starting to say, there's this week especially, I feel like there's been more conversation about bullpen usage, the closer role, not just with regard to what the Rangers have been experiencing lately, but all around Major League Baseball. It's a great book out. I'm not sure if I brought it with me tonight, called The Closer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lot of closers throughout history, going back to Elroy Face, and their stories, a couple pages worth. But it's funny because Raleigh Fingers, a great Oakland A back in the day and one of the great closers of all time, talks a lot about today's version versus when he played. And he's like, what good is a 98-mile-per-hour fastball if you can't throw it through a barn door?
Mm-hmm.
And Hendricks this inning, and he does have a big arm. He just made a 3-0 count, 3-1 now on Mazara, but walked the first 2 men he had faced. Guys back in the day pitched a little bit more like we saw from A.J. Griffin today. Didn't matter what kind of big arm you had, just can you get outs?
Without a doubt, it becomes so important to have the great command. You got to have it as a closer because you cannot afford to walk guys.
That one smashed through the infield. A base hit for Mazara. He'll pick up 2 more RBIs. 7-0 Rangers, and Mazara now with 16 RBIs on the year.
Well, as you were talking about what Hendricks did with the count, putting himself in a tough spot, he can't pick corners, and he's got to go right at Nomar Mazara, and Nomar's got to feel pretty good about the fact that a fastball is coming his way in that 3-1 count. Even though there was an open base and he was ready for it, he hit it hard, and with the infield in, the chances of that ground ball getting through obviously increase significantly. That's a good at bat too. You know what I like about that? You think about getting big in that situation. You feel like maybe, okay, is the game at hand? Got a 5-run lead. It's the 9th inning. Could he try to go yard in that situation, take a big swing, maybe go a little bit of an uppercut? But no, the infield's in. There's 2 RBIs out there. Stays level, stays on it, hits it hard on the ground, gets it through that infield, and now opens up this game a little bit more.
Yeah, another multi-hit game for Nomar Mazara. Count 0-2 now on Napoli.
But I think to back up your point on what you're talking about, what we are seeing to go along with the great velocities, there's no doubt these guys are throwing harder than they ever have, but they're also coming out of what is kind of being called the showcase generation, right? You come through the amateur levels, and it's not about being a great pitcher necessarily, but a lot of times it is about just letting it fly and showing off your skills. And there's more to that when it comes to pitching. And so I think maybe that has contributed to some of what we're seeing, like you said, using that phrase of you can't throw it through a barn door, but you can throw it 98 miles an hour. Well, you're not going to stick at the big league level. You have to be able to pitch. You have to be able to throw strikes. You have to be able to throw inside effectively, too, which is not an easy thing to do when you're throwing that hard and you don't have the great command.
No, I'm not trying to pick on Liam Hendricks either.
No,
right?
no.
It's obviously it's a general point about
yeah,
pitching
without
today.
a doubt.
Yeah. So now Rougned Odor, after Napoli goes down on strikes, And he takes a strike right on the inside corner. Rugi 1 for 4 tonight. 7-0 Rangers. One strike pitch from Hendricks is off the plate. 1-1. Keone Kela reactivated today, joined the big club, and looks like we may be seeing him in the 9th inning.
I like that a lot. Get him in there right away. Not a high pressure situation, but let him finish out a game as well. Even where there's a big score, there is that little kind of get that little kind of bolt of adrenaline when it's the last out of the game, regardless of the score.
This one bounced down to first. Diving stop Alonso, and he'll get it to Hendricks in time. That ends the inning. The Rangers, though, add 2 more in the 9th. And here comes Keone Kela.
And the Texas Rangers way out in front with a 7-0 lead. And how about this? University days are back. Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Texas Rangers game. Get discounted tickets for select games throughout the season, and fans will also get a free Rangers cap in school-specific colors. Go to TexasRangers.com/U-Days for details.
Nicely done, Keone Kela. Now in this 9th inning, we'll have the top of the order coming. We'll see what he did at Round Rock in his time down there. He is on, just joined the team today. And I don't know what happened with Ajay Davis. It looked like he was asking for time, never got it. Backed away from a perfect strike.
Fight time.
So, yeah, so he heard somebody say, you heard it there. Somebody was saying my time. I don't know what happened. I don't know who was saying it, but it wasn't the umpire. I think Davis thought it was. Oh, boy.
Chopper third. Got him. No small task cutting down Davis with his great speed.
I'd like to get the hang time on that bounce. That ball was in the air for a while. Whenever you have a runner like Rajay Davis, you see Joey Gallo smiling. He had to wait for that chopper to come down, but also knew that it was going to have to be a quick exchange and a strong throw, and Joey Gallo was able to execute just that. But this ball was up there for a while. He does a great job of catching that ball. Watch him here, close to his body, throwing hand close, get it out of the glove, get rid of it quick. It's a great play. There's really no margin for error in that situation for Joey Gallo.
So Kela gets the first man he faces, and now Matt Joyce. And that one right in there for a strike. Joyce 0 for 3. fires that one in 97 miles per hour. You could hear him grunting.
He's got the electric fastballs, no doubt about it, and he knows how to strike out big league hitters. He has done it in his short career to the rate of 10.8 strikeouts per 9 innings in the 94 1/3 innings that he's thrown in the big leagues.
Two-strike pitch on the way. And there's his first strikeout of the year. He gets Joyce 2 away in this 9th inning.
This is just a filthy at bat as Matt Joyce just walks back to the bullpen. Fastball, and then breaking ball down and in under the hands. Really well located. It looked like Jonathan Lucroy just wanted it down over the plate, but if you're going to miss to one side or the other, miss down and in that situation, you much better chance of getting a swing and a miss.
Two away. Here's Lowry. And he will take ball 1. Now, Keller was sent out to AAA Round Rock just before the season began, and kind of a surprising development. Nobody, outside of the clubhouse really understood what was going on. After several days, details came out. There was some conflict personality-wise and effort on the field, and that has been taken care of. They had a meeting today. Once he rejoined the club, the air has been cleared, and now Jeff Bannister hopes we just move forward, continue to work. And he says, performance will help cover up a lot of stuff. As this one just misses.
It does, but at the same time, this is a team that is built on talent without a doubt, but it's also built on chemistry. It matters here for the Rangers, and when you look at Keller and what he brings to the table, the important thing now is no relapse in that regard. Can't happen again. Got to move forward. He's too important to this team to have any kind of personality conflicts get in the way of what he can contribute. And and from a personal standpoint, it's okay to be selfish too and look at it a little bit and say, this guy's got a huge future. Potential earnings for this guy, what he's doing right now, are really high. He can do really well for himself. You don't want any of that other stuff to get in the way.
He's gotten the first 2 hitters. He's gone 2 and 2 to Lowry. And the pitch. Bouncer right to Odor. And it's a clean 1-2-3 9th inning for Keone Kela and the Rangers, and they take the opener in Oakland 7-0.
First shutout on the board here for the Texas Rangers, and it certainly came at a good time. A.J. Griffin was solid tonight, and all of a sudden this year, after 2 3-game losing streaks, he's been the guy that has gotten the ball and has delivered, and all of a sudden now A.J. Griffin really sliding up in this rotation. The depth of the rotation is strong, but he's come up really big in some situations where this team has needed him. Of course, the offense